Is this you? Hello, I'm Jacinta. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're actually going to be talking about how to think more positively, because I feel like that's a really big problem with people nowadays, don't you think? I won't lie to you, 6 months ago, I was in the biggest slump of my life. I could not get myself out of bed. I couldn't do anything. I was doom scrolling on TikTok for days on end. Like, I had a really big problem. Okay, let's go. Take things positively. Always take things positively. Because you can be in a bad mood for no apparent reason. Nobody's gonna question it. Humans are more inclined to think negatively or to think pessimistically. And it's a lot easier to let negative thoughts come to the surface. And it takes a lot more energy and resilience to put out those positive thoughts. There's a statistic where one hate comment counted as 12 positive comments whenever a social media influencer would go through their comments. We are more inclined to recognize things with a negative association rather than a positive association, because a lot of the positive things we have, we be taking for granted. Like, a lot of positive things are very mundane and normal that it gets out of our perception if we are so focused on the negative, if we are so focused on the bad things that are happening. Let's think politics. Like, there are people that strongly support our president. There are people that strongly do not support our president. And they get into these feuds and arguments on Twitter, and it's just hate on both sides. But the thing is that people like getting into these arguments and discussions because some people have nothing better to do, and they like the chaos, they like the negativity, they like feeding off of it because it makes them feel like they're worth something. It's the same thing of bullying. Like, bullies usually are bullied as well, because bullying stems from thinking you're better than somebody else, that you use the person as an outlet because they're weaker than you, or you perceive them as weaker than you, so you use your inferiority complex to bully them, to be negative towards them. If you didn't have self-esteem issues, or if you had a positive self-concept of yourself, you wouldn't go out of your way to hate on people for their looks, for their body, or their personality even, for their quirks. You wouldn't be hating on anybody if you were completely secure in yourself. There's no point in judging somebody if you already have everything. The whole shtick of thinking positively is having high self-worth, having high self-esteem, thinking that you are worth something. And that is very hard for somebody that grew up being put down, being humble. Whenever you grow up with the saying of being humble, you feel like you are never good enough. I mean, I could put the definition of being humble like right up here, but you feel like that whatever you do, no matter how much effort you put in, no matter how much time, blood, sweat, and tears you put into this one thing, or the amount of effort you put into impressing your parents or any type of mentor, then it just seems like it's wasted. And then you get burnt out and you go into a slump, and now you're just sad. I'll say that word for word because that's exactly what I went through. And it's hard to grapple with the lack of self-worth you get, because you are always questioning what you do. Or at least in my case, I was always questioning what I did. I was always questioning if what I'm doing is good enough, or if I'm worthy of having the things that are given to me, because I never felt good enough to receive it, and I felt like I never deserved it. If you don't match the frequency that the thing that you want has, then you won't get it. You will never get that thing unless you think that you actually deserve it. If you do get it before you think you deserve it, you're gonna sabotage yourself in some way, somehow. Because I know I've had amazing opportunities that I've skipped because I couldn't discern whether it would have been a good opportunity or not. See, with people with like similar frequencies, it also means that you have similar mindsets, similar goals, but you can also have completely different goals, but be on a similar frequency. Frequency is about how you perceive yourself. What affects your frequency is your emotions, your identity, and what you believe your higher self is. You have to imagine what type of frequency that the higher self does vibrate at. Now, I know you guys know Maslow's hierarchy. The last thing is, in simple terms, self-fulfillment, basically, where you are almost perfect, where you have everything that you need. You fulfilled all your other needs, and you are the best version of yourself. I know a lot of people talk about frequency and sort of what it is, but it is the frequency of light. How much light we see, how much light we perceive. There's the frequency of sound, what we hear and what we pick up. Everything has a frequency to it. All your 5 senses. They use frequencies to determine what your reality is. We constantly get pieces of information that can go up to millions, per day. So our senses can only really perceive up to 5, probably 10 in a day. But there's only so much the human body can process and can think about at a certain time, because we are very bad at multitasking. We do everything best when we're focused on one thing. We think that we can overload our body and do multiple things at once and try and control so many things at once when we can't. That is the one-way ticket to burning out. When you try to control everything around you, you're the one being controlled by all your surroundings. It's all about detachments and letting go of the outcome and being zen and going with the flow. And I know a lot of control freaks are gonna freaking hate this, because I was the exact same way. The thing is that I don't think you should listen to the advice of people saying, oh, you should just let go of all control. But the only thing you can control is yourself. That's the only thing you should focus on. That is your one priority. Do not try and control other people. Do not try to control nature. Do not try to control situations that really had nothing to do with you in the first place. The only thing you can control is yourself. Your emotions, your reactions, your actions. Those are the only things you can control. You can only control you as a person. And I feel like the thing is, when we're trying to control other people and we're trying to control our surroundings, we lose control of ourselves, and that is when everything bad starts happening. I'm sorry to admit it, but one of those sections of your life that you can't control is the people around you, because they will think for themselves. The way they treat you is what they perceive you as. It's not you. They don't know you. No matter how many years or how understanding somebody can be, they will not know you 100%. The only person that will know you 100% is you. And it's really hard to realize that you could have known people for your entire life, but they will not know the first thing about you. If you were to ask one of your friends right now, what is one goal I've had for my entire life? Do you think they'd be able to answer that? Maybe it's just me as a person, but I know whenever I put value into something, I don't really talk about it that much. I don't let other people know, and it's not because of evil eye or anything like that. I just like to work in silence. I like to have privacy. I like to have things just to myself, and I would rather let my results speak for themselves. I don't feel the need to act arrogant and act like I'm better than everybody else just because I did this and that and the third. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance. Arrogance is loud, confidence is quiet. I like to lean more towards confidence, where it's quiet. Think positively. Think about all the good things that could happen. But honestly, I've just been thinking about it in the reverse. What if I can just be happy without a reason? Because I know I can be in a bad mood without a reason. Like, I can think of so many ways I can just be negative and let it affect my psyche. Why can't I let myself have some breathing room and just be in a good mood? And I do like the advice of, oh yeah, talk about what you're grateful for to be in a good mood, but why can't you just put yourself into a good mood without putting in the effort of, what is the one thing I'm really grateful for, and I'm gonna immerse myself in it. I know that it might be hard to think about it. There's nothing wrong with doing stuff just because you can do it. It's the whole thing of intrinsic motivation. Like, you're doing the thing because you like the thing. You're doing it for the thing. You're not doing it for external achievements or anything of the sort. Like, I might as well be happy and put myself in a good mood and let myself have a good day instead of wallowing and being sad when that's unnecessary. Why don't I let myself get up? Why don't I let myself heal? Because healing is a process. There is no such thing as just being healed. The whole point of life is that it throws problems at you to solve. But there's also moments where you can just exist, where you can be happy and you have good moments. But there's also times where you have really bad moments and really bad memories that you don't want to think about. But those bad memories and bad moments make you grateful for the good moments you do have. I think the whole point of life is just to balance everything. You are always going to find some way to sway to one side or the other. The whole point is to keep yourself accountable and to try and walk straight on the tightrope. The fear of failure comes from fear of death. Like, they're scared to fail because they think they will die. It might seem a little extreme, but think about it. You don't do the thing because of embarrassment, because you think people are going to judge you, because you think you'll be outed, like social death. What is the worst that could happen? Okay, let's say you start a YouTube channel, right? Like I did. Oh, I don't want to start one. People are gonna find it. Okay, they do find it. Some of them are gonna be like, you know, this is really stupid. You should probably not do this. What makes you think that you could be successful? What makes you think that you deserve to be an influencer or be a creator. There's always going to be people that hate you for no apparent reason, or maybe they do have a reason. Maybe it is valid to them. But there's always going to be moments where you can't control what other people say or do. You have to decide how you react to that. You have to think about it in steps. You made your YouTube channel. People at your work or at your school or wherever you know people find it. They try and embarrass you. They tell you that you're not going to make it. They discourage you. You get embarrassed. You decide to quit. You try again. And you're really going to think, I'm just not going to let other people judge me. There is no point in letting other people judge me, and I should put my all into this. So you start again. And then those people, they come back and they say, you're not good enough. You will never be good enough. Who do you think you are? And this time around, you're thinking, they will always talk. And they are hating on me for starting this because they have things that they want to start. They are insecure. Nobody successful will make fun of you for just starting or for just making mistakes. And you should take the example of the person that you want to be, who you imagine your higher self to be, because they will never judge you for the choices you make, even if they're stupid or even if they weren't the best to make at the time. If you think back to your younger self and you judge the things that you used to do, you still have a lot of self-work to do. You still have insecurities that you had when you were younger that you still need to deal with. Because if you really were secure with yourself, if you really felt like you were doing better, you wouldn't judge yourself for making mistakes from 10 years ago. You wouldn't still be embarrassed about doing the things that you did 5 years ago. Because I know whenever I look at the past, I think of moments where I was embarrassed or when I did things wrong or when I screwed up, and I think about it now, I'm just like, if I didn't do those things, I wouldn't be who I am right now. And I like who I am right now. The one person that you can always take advice from is yourself. That's why journaling is such like an important thing for a lot of people, because whenever I look back at my journal pages, I just think, dang, I used to give myself so much advice. Like at the end of almost every single journal entry I have, I just have a piece of advice for my future self, because I already experienced so much. And who else would know my experiences like I do? Who else would be able to relate than me? So I always take the advice that I gave myself in the past. I listen to other people's advice on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, but it's just that if the advice doesn't resonate with me, if the advice doesn't get me to where I want to be, I will not listen to it. I'll completely cover my ears and tune it out. Because there's always going to be advice that you don't agree with. There's always going to be things that don't feel right to you or don't feel like it could get you to where you want to be. As a disclaimer, take everything I say with a grain of salt. And if you don't want to follow the advice I gave you today, then don't. I want you to take this advice in your own way, in a positive light. But if you decide not to take my advice, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to get all sad or moody about it either. That's how I treat others when I'm taking advice from them. Like, sometimes I'll take it, sometimes I won't. There's some things that resonate me, there's some things that don't. I don't stick to one specific self-improvement creator, because I will be honest with you, a lot of these creators on the internet and online, they're not fully healed. Everything that I say out of my mouth is mostly my opinion, but a lot of my videos are biased and they are things that I've learned, and my experiences can be completely different from yours. Do not listen to all the advice you get, because you need to be able to discern and filter out things that are relevant to you. So don't listen to everything you hear. Do not listen to people that have nothing going for them. Only let yourself listen to specific pieces of advice, even if it comes from a homeless man, because even that homeless man, he'll tell you how to not be homeless. Like, he'll tell you, oh yeah, this is what I did, do not do what I did. There is advice from people that aren't where they want to be, but they'll tell you their mistakes, their flaws, and take accountability if they have done the self-work, and they'll give you advice to help you avoid the situation they're in right now. But sometimes you just have to experience things and collect advice from yourself. The only person that you should take advice from is you, because there are lessons and there are things that you have to experience and learn for yourself in order for it to click. Let's say you're in a toxic relationship. You should leave that relationship. You shouldn't be in that relationship. You have to get through your head that you are sick of that toxic relationship. You can't do it anymore. You can't be with that person anymore. That's the only time that sort of advice resonates. It's when you let yourself wake up and look at things from an outside perspective and think, wow, why am I treating myself this way? And sometimes that wake-up call comes from other people telling you straight up to your face or yelling at you. Or sometimes it just comes from you finally listening to yourself. that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that. Stay tuned in. Bye-bye.